Hey everyone, and welcome to Jackie's Lifestyle. And this is going to be me setting up my 2019 bullet journal. And I started this kind of late. I've seen bullet journals a long time ago, but I never decided to do one until now. And it's now April in 2019, and I decided to just go ahead and jump in and do it. I'm currently right now working on my key on the very first page, and I'll have a link in the description below for where I got my bullet journal and the items that I use to fill it out. And I'm using a really basic setup, uh, kind of like what's in the book and on their website. So just the dash and the open circle and the dot for the task, things like that, as you can see in there. And I used this candle cover to make a circle so that I can write the 2019, April 2019 to December. And I'll actually go back to the key side and I'll decorate it, and I'll do the same with the year cover, which I didn't like the way this year cover turned out. I didn't. It's too late to change it now. I could get another. I can get a page from the back and cover it and redo it. I might end up doing that. We'll see. But for right now, I'm just filling it out. I'm kind of really. I shouldn't be too worried about it because my main concern this year should be for actually learning the bullet journal and getting all my ideas down and making sure that I'm perfectly organized, and then later I can work on designing, but I can't help it. I want to so bad. So I'll end up doing little pieces in there. I am not an artist, and um I can't do brush lettering, and that's something that I'm trying to learn how to do. So, hopefully, as this series progresses, you will see a vast improvement of my brush lettering, which is excellent because that'll be a kind of like it's like my journey. So, um, I use these colored gel pens. I just got them from Walmart. I don't even know the name of them. I got them from Walmart, and I that's what I use to color in the leaves. And I made a grid. I used the what is it? A ruler. Wow, I couldn't think of the word. I used a ruler to draw out this box because I saw this mandolin, and I really wanted to do one. Not very good at it, but whatever. I decided to do a extremely small one and then color it in. It turned out okay. The bottom I didn't like too much, but I really do like this metallic color that I end up using on the bottom of it, and then it kind of like it gets darker at the top, which is really awesome. So kind of like an ombre effect. And um I'm just really I just started with one piece, and I just started adding on to it just to see what I could come up with these leaves. I should have left it just like that. But see, the way this bottom isn't symmetrical, so it makes it look kind of weird. That's okay though. It's like I said, this is the beginning, and that's always good. So this is like a pinky purple metallic sheen, and you can kind of see, or maybe it's darker at the bottom. Yeah, it's darker at the bottom and lighter at the top. It's just the way the light hits it. And then I use another metallic sheen, a blue, to color in the next level's petals. And I did use little strokes to make it look kind of more interesting. And then I cover the very bottom black. I shouldn't have done it. I really shouldn't have. But, hindsight 2020. Then I just move on to this next page. And this is what I don't like. I don't like these pieces on here, and then I added two quotes, but it's really the messages that are on there that really matter. I did it in pencil first, and then I decided to do it in a marker. And the first one says, "Don't give up. The beginning is always the hardest." And the next one is rule one. Rule number one of life is do what makes you happy. And those are two things that I really want to stick with. And it's super important, because doing what makes you happy is the most important thing. If you constantly spend your time focusing and doing what other people are expecting of you, then you'll never be a happy person. You'll always feel like just everything is a chore, and that's not what I want. I want to do what makes me happy, and that's pretty much my message of this year. And then obviously the beginning is always the hardest, as uh this journal is showing. It looks terrible, but it works for now. I mean, it's not. And this flower that I'm doing, actually jumping off tangent, this flower, I made a mistake. When I colored it, I used these neon colors and it just clashes with the whole thing. And so later on, I don't show it on this camera right now. I'll go in and I'll try to color in with a more muted color. And I use that same green that I use on the key side to color in all the leaves that I have on here. And then I just stuck a bunch of little flowers along the page. These two pages, I realized, I was like, okay, this is getting a little too, what's the word that I want to use? Decorative, kind of a little too decorative, for too themish for the first page. I should have wanted to keep it minimalist. Um, See, this is that neon color, but then later on, as I do the future log and my goals and things like that, then I'll change it to a more minimalist, where there's not any designs, because it is the very beginning of the book, and that should be your blank slate. And then each month I want to be I kind of messed that whole idea up with these first two pages, but that's okay. It was fun to at least attempt to try something. It's a learning curve. And I love this green. I mean, it's green. This gold, metallic gel pen. It's so pretty. I definitely want to make some kind of golds, uh, one of my themes. So I did make an index on this page here, and I used a ribbon. As you can see, I did outline what I wanted to do on the page. I figured in the beginning that's the most important thing for me to do, is outline what I want on a page before I actually draw it in. Didn't help me with the first page. But I was kind of like anxious to get started, so I kind of rushed it. This one is very minimal. I just write this index in there, and then I just leave it blank, and I put like a blue line underneath it, just to add a little small pop of color. But this is starting that minimal look that I wanted to do. And oh, I have my Apple Watch on, so you'll see it light up a bunch. I forgot to take it off. um as you can see, my handwriting is not that great. It's good for now, but it's definitely going to get better, and hopefully I'll be able to do the brush lettering. I did buy these Crayola super tips so that I can learn how to brush letter without destroying good pens. I did buy good pens, but I'm not going to use them. So this is my future log, and I did 3 boxes per page for the years for this year, and since we're already a quarter of the year done, I only need 3 pages, which is why I decided to do 3. And I ended up messing up September. You'll see it. Um, I did try my hand at a little bit of lettering with like the more spaced out letters, which was pretty cool. And then I carry that on throughout each month. Um, they look pretty good. I can't. My A's look really weird, and this is where I realized that writing within each letter is really hard. It's like really small, and I wasn't expecting. I mean, I can write really small. I don't normally write big, but this is taking small to a whole new level. This pen I have, I can't remember. I'm using the Sakura Micron, but the other pen I was using, I can't remember. I think that's why I changed it to the Sakura Micron, because the other one was like 0.5 and this one is like 0.25, which is really good. A lot smaller so that I can fit it into these small spaces, and my numbering, I've got to get better at it. So I'm just moving on to the second page, and I won't, I'll record the mess up. You probably like it won't look like I messed up until until you'll see. I wrote the same number months on the calendar, same as August, which was my boo boo. My first boo boo was writing the S in September. I should have known it was messed up from then. But uh, I'm just erasing all these pencil marks, and I pulled up a calendar. How I messed up is I pulled up a calendar to see where exactly it was that the date started off at. And since my current computer calendar, I didn't change it at the time, started off on Sunday, it kind of threw me off a little bit. And I kept on having to look at it to make sure I did it right. And yeah, I messed up. Oops. I wrote the same exact day. I started on Thursday again instead of starting on Sunday, and that's when I just stopped. I was like, "Oh, I forgot." So I used this paint pen, and I white dotted all the letters out, and adding this drop shadow, which I actually messed up the drop shadows in the beginning of this. I put them too far. I put them all the way to the end instead of putting them like kind of offset to make it look like a box, but whatever. Um, so I just kept it simple. I didn't add any other colors, just black and white. And I went ahead and I moved on to the next page because I let it dry and then filled it in. And I realized, oh, I needed to work on the last 3 months of the year. So it's the same exact thing. And then I write future log at the top. And this time freehanded it. I freehanded it instead of following a guide, just to see if I could do it. And I was kind of impatient. And I was like, oh, I forgot to outline it before I hit record. So I just go in and I freehanded it. Doesn't look too bad. I did pretty good. Um, so it's spaced out enough, and yeah. And so I am adding the days on here. Yeah, the weeks and the days of October, November, and December. And like I said, I keep it minimal, completely minimal. And then the next page as well is pretty much the same because I didn't want to have a different theme, I guess, going on between the same section or collection of this book in the beginning. So, and I did my 2019 goals is what this ends up being. Um, and before I outlined the boxes, I decided to use I didn't want to put a line through the numbers. And as you see, number 3 says no NOV. Oops. Uh, I was getting ahead of myself. I was getting excited because I liked the way it looked. And so, yeah, these boxes are around it, but this time they don't cover the whole entire thing. There's a gap where the letters are, obviously, as you can see. As you can see. Um, yeah. And in the next video, I think it's the same angle, and I I got a different mount now, so not the next the video after, the angle should be a lot different, and I got a ring light, so it'll help with the lighting. Currently right now I'm just using daylight because my desk is near my window, so that helps a lot. And I just have to do minimal color grading. If you're curious with the type of camera that I'm using, I have a Canon Rebel 77, something like that. Um, but I'm not using that because it's heavy. So I have a DJI, I can't remember what this thing is called. Wow. The Pocket, the little tiny one that they just came out around Christmas, totally bought that as soon as it came out. So that's what I'm using, and it's a lot lighter and it's excellent quality. I recorded this in um, 1080, but I can record in 4K, which I could do, but those files are big. Those files are really big, and I have more than enough space, but I just that's a lot of space, and I won't be able to record as long if I do that 4K, and it'll make my little DJ hot. So this are the books that I am determined to read this year. At least read pieces of it as I'm going. They're all um what are they? Not self-help, but motivational and teaching books and things that, you know, I recommend that anyone read. They're excellent books, and I will post the books on there. I didn't write any right now, but yeah. So this is pretty much it, and this is just going to be a flip through. There's my email address, and yeah. So please let me know what you think in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you enjoy what you watched here, and as always, thanks so much for watching.